Let's start at the top. You got King Viserys the Peaceful because he just wants everyone to get along. He's so pumped to have an heir that when his wife has trouble during childbirth, he chooses to go with a medieval C-section, which as you can imagine is a fucking bloodbath. Surprise, the king's wife and his newborn baby are both dead, so he says that his daughter Rhaenyra is the new heir and will one day be queen. Next to the king is his brother Daemon, who deep down is kind of truly a selfish piece of shit. He murdered his first wife by bashing her with a rock because she was too ugly. But he also does cool ass shit like chop people's heads off, so we all kind of root for him, even though we probably shouldn't.
I will have your tongue for that.
He can keep his tongue.
Princess Rhaenyra, as we said, is King Viserys' daughter, but she's not really into the whole royalty thing. But what she is into is her uncle Daemon. One night, Daemon seduces her. They almost have sex, but don't. With Daemon hoping that if the world finds out she was impure, King Viserys will have no choice but to marry them, and Daemon would be a made man for life. Otto Hightower, the hand of the king, hears the rumor they banged and tells Viserys. Rhaenyra denies it, but it's only a half-truth because she did lose her virginity that night to Sir Criston Cole, who is the worst. The king doesn't believe her and tells his daughter that she has to marry Laenor Velaryon, the son of one of the king's allies, the Sea Snake. Turns out that Laenor is gay, but Rhaenyra says, let's just get married, keep everyone happy, you can fuck all the boys you want, and I will have Sir Criston Cole as my side piece, everyone wins. Now, while all this is going on, there's Alicent Hightower. She's Otto Hightower's daughter and Rhaenyra's best friend, except a wrench gets thrown into their friendship when Otto Hightower pimps out his daughter Alicent to comfort King Viserys, newly single, fresh off a breakup, aka he decided to sacrifice his wife during childbirth. She says Alicent's gonna be my wife, so now Alicent, at one time Rhaenyra's best friend, becomes her stepmom, and Alicent has a baby with her dad, Aegon, so now Rhaenyra has a new brother from her best friend, some Maury Povich shit. Otto tells the king, your daughter's a hoe, we need to make my grandson king. Alicent believes Rhaenyra, though, says that she's telling the truth, goes to her husband, the king, and says, I believe my girl 100%, it didn't happen. Well, King Viserys turns around and says, all right, bet, then I'm banishing your father. Alicent's like, fuck, I didn't think that was gonna happen. Otto tells Alicent, you better get ready for war or become best friends with the princess, because now you and your kids are in jeopardy forever. Like 5 minutes after her father gets banished, Alicent gets word that Rhaenyra didn't fuck Daemon, but she did fuck Sir Criston Cole. So she's like, yo, you lied to me, and that forced my father out of my life and put me and my children at jeopardy for the rest of my life, so fuck you. She's like, I hate your guts. Sir Criston Cole also hates her guts because Rhaenyra proposes the idea that Sir Criston Cole should fuck on the side, and Sir Criston Cole is like, what? I'm just your whore? So Alicent and Sir Criston Cole become this tag team that's not to be fucked with. Middle of season 1, we fast forward and everyone's grown up. Rhaenyra is popping out a new baby boy. It's her third in a row that looks nothing like their father because Rhaenyra is fucking Sir Harwin on the side because her husband is gay. Sir Harwin's dad is Lionel, the new hand of the king. All of Rhaenyra's kids look exactly like Sir Harwin, nothing like their father Laenor, and so the whole kingdom is whispering about how she's cheating on her husband and all of her children are bastards. Sir Criston baits Sir Harwin, saying that he's the real father of the kids. Sir Harwin beats the fucking shit out of Sir Criston.
Your interest in the Princeling's training is quite unusual, Commander. Most men would only have that kind of devotion toward a cousin or a son.
Sir Harwin's dad goes to resign from being hand of the king due to shame regarding the bastard kid. Despite mountains of proof, the king is in denial and says, I don't know what you mean. You're a good hand. Don't worry about it. Take your son. Go to Harrenhal Castle. This drives Alicent up a fucking wall because she's like, when my dad said that shit, you banished him. But when his dad said the same stuff, you said it's all good. All of a sudden, Larys Strong, the guy with the club foot, who's Sir Harwin's brother and Lionel's other son, tells Alicent, you need someone to have your back. I'll be that guy. All you gotta do is let me masturbate to your feet.
If you wish it, it will be done.
She's like, deal, done. But Larys turns around and burns his father and brother to death in Harrenhal, and she's like, bro, that is not what I had in mind. And he's like, it's okay, just show me those tootsies and it's gonna be all good. Now back to Daemon. He's been busy this whole time. He stole a dragon egg, he defeated the Crab King and became king of the Narrow Sea, he murdered his first wife by getting into Christopher Reeves herself on a horse, after which he bashed her head in with a rock, and then newly single, he marries Rhaenyra's gay husband's sister, Laena Velaryon. They have 2 daughters, and she's about to have a 3rd kid, but she can't due to complications, so she limps over to her dragon Vhagar and says, dracarys, and he fucking flames her. It's the most gangster shit ever. This is important because at the funeral, Rhaenyra and Daemon reunite and take a long walk on the beach and say they've always wanted to be together, so let's get married. Also, Vhagar, the largest dragon in the world, is now a vacant dragon. All the other dragons are claimed by Rhaenyra and Alicent's kids, except for one, Aemond. He's Alicent's son who gets bullied and clowned for not having a dragon of his own. One night, Aemond is making fun of Rhaenyra's sons and Daemon's daughters, so Viserys pulls out a knife and cuts out his fucking eye. It's a powder keg moment because Alicent demands that Viserys cuts out Lucerys' eye as punishment, grabs a knife and almost attacks Rhaenyra, so now it's officially on. Aemond, the little one-eye fucker, goes and finds Vhagar, speaks Valyrian, Targaryen and claims him as his own, so he goes from not having a dragon at all to having the biggest in the world. After the time jump, all of Alicent's kids are grown up. Aemon is like a Daemon 2.0, but he's got a sapphire in his eye. She has a daughter named Helena, who I think is on the spectrum. And side note, if you're paying attention, speaks prophecies that come true all the time, predicting your brother would lose an eye, that the greens and the blacks would fight, and that the dragon is underneath the boards. Then there's Aegon II. As a kid, he used to jerk off out the window, and as a young adult, he might be the most depraved motherfucker in this whole thing, as he fathers a bunch of bastards that he leaves to an underground fight club where they sharpen their nails and file their teeth to battle in a pit. Now, he is the king's son, so potentially he could be the next king, except for 3 major issues. A, the king will not die. Seriously, it takes this motherfucker like 9 full episodes to slowly melt away and kick the bucket. 2, the king still maintains that his daughter Rhaenyra is still the heir to the throne. And D, Aegon just wants to be a demonic fuckboy. However, the king finally dies, and with only his wife Alicent by his side at the time of his death, delirious and speaking gibberish, he mentions the name Aegon. In reality, he was referring to Aegon the Conqueror for back in the day, but Alicent sees the opportunity to tell the world that the king's dying wish was to make her son Aegon II king of the Seven Kingdoms. Alicent tells her father and the High Council the king is dead, and says Aegon is to be the king, which then creates a whole shit show because the other houses and royalty need to declare whether they're going to remain loyal to Rhaenyra or if they're going to believe this highly convenient story of Aegon ascending that only Alicent heard. Anybody who backs Rhaenyra is either murdered or imprisoned. This includes Rhaenys Targaryen, the queen who never was. Her grandfather was king and she was his blood, but she got passed over for being a woman, allowing Viserys to become king. Honestly, if they just made her queen, none of this shit happens. But Alicent locks away Rhaenys in a tower and says, why don't you just join up with us? We're both bad bitches who get disrespected. Fast forward to the coronation of Aegon II. He knows he's not supposed to be king, but as he gets a taste of the fame, he's like, oh shit, this is about to be fire. Little does he know it's actually about to be fire, because the coronation is happening on top of a dragon pit. Rhaenys blasts through the ground, probably kills a ton of civilians, and has the chance to drop dracarys and flame the whole fucking Green family, but she says this is not her war to start. She flies to Rhaenyra and says, hey, shit's going down, you better get all your people to pledge allegiance to you. In order to do that, Rhaenyra sends her sons on their dragons to fly to the Vale, Storm's End, and Winterfell to recruit those houses, but one-eyed Aemon has already beat them to the punch. A dogfight ensues in the air with Aemon trying to scare Lucerys, but Aemon loses control of his dragon and it fucking eats Lucerys and Arrax, thereby leading to a full-blown civil war as Alicent's sons have now murdered Rhaenyra's sons, and that's where we take off with Season 2, Sunday night, 9 p.m.